Alright, boys, welcome to this video. Sorry if I haven't been uploading for a while. I've been pretty like bored, annoyed, and also I'm basically got a job too, so I'll still work on videos, but I'll pretty much be working, stuff like that. Anyway, this video I'm gonna basically talk about webtoons, right? One of my most enjoyable things that I love playing, right? And if you don't know what webtoons is, simple. Webtoons is an animated cartoon or series of comic strips published online, right? So basically, if more context, webtoons are like, for one, they're full-colored, posted stories online. They're basically like a manga, but just think of it vertically. Like it's a vertical, and a manga is horizontal. You see from like the right to the left, and a manga you see from a webtoon you see from up down, right? And the great thing about webtoons is it's weekly, full color, and there's beautiful art like these. And I'm gonna just talk about a few series that I binge and I love watching. Some of them was already finished, and if you want to like get into it, you can basically find like this. So now, first, let's go with the first series here. Now, the first series we got here is Jungle Juice, right? And if you know what Jungle Juice is, right, it's basically this story of imagine this, right? You have this spray can, right, to kill insects, right? You basically buy it up from any supermarket and you use it, right? Now, our main character, right, basically he looks he's just basically an ordinary college student, but he has a big secret. He has some disgusting, he has basically dragonfly wings. Now, you might be curious how he got that. Like I said, from the spray can, right? Basically what happens is this spray can that's designed to kill insect known as Jungle Juice was basically, one day he was at his home and a dragonfly flied in, and he basically tried to kill it with the Jungle Juice spray. What happened was, since he sprayed it, we don't know specifically what happened, but basically when he sprayed it and sprayed the insect and it died, basically there was a chemical in the Jungle Juice that he inhaled, and it basically, in a sense, fused with his body and gave him like, dragonfly capabilities. Like he basically has, like I said, dragonfly powers in a human body. He can fly, do a lot of crazy dragonfly things, and it also depends what type of dragonfly he is too. He can also get like special abilities too. He could probably have like X-ray vision, or he basically probably has like 360 vision. It really depends, and that's the cool thing about Jungle Juice. It's basically, like I said, imagine you just have the power of insects, and that's the whole story. It's like the whole Jungle Juice, okay, where it came from, why was it made, what happened to it, why was it called, and you basically, get into this world after basically people find out like, oh wait, he has these weird things, and everybody he cares about just throws him away, and thinks he's like gross, disgusting, a monster, which eventually he gets called in by the people who also went through the same kind of circumstances as him. Basically got like a cockroach or a cricket, or a scorpion, or like a moth, basically that, and it's a very freaking cool thing because every character in the show has like different abilities, different dynamics, and all of them take advantage of like everything. Like there's probably like like spiders that walk on the ground, while there's probably spiders that like live in the water. They use like air bubbles and stuff like that, to like hide themselves. There's also bees. Like imagine you have bee powers. Oh, maybe you killed a queen bee, now you have queen bee powers. That's how it is, right? And like I said, I'm talking too much about this, but basically that's the whole thing. I just really want to talk about it. It has great art, great story. It's not finished, but it's pretty much going really far in the story. If you want to binge it, you can just 100% binge it. I'll put it on the link in the description if you want to like watch the whole series. But I basically, just to tell you guys, like, if you want to check it out. Next one we have Unordinary, one of my favorite webtoons of all time. Very fun, super simple story. Imagine a world where people has powers, abilities in a sense, right? Everybody has an ability except for our main character, John. Normal person who lives in a world where people have powers, and we all know what happens when power hits somebody. They're gonna think they're basically the toughest thing in the world, so it's basically, we just go through the daily life of John trying to survive it in this school filled to the brim with like crazy people with powers that try to beat him up just because they can, you know. I mean, I have powers. You're gonna beat me? You don't have. You can't do. What are you gonna do? Throw a punch? I'll use my abilities, you know. And that's how it is. But fun part is we also find secrets about John because he's hiding way more than just because we also find really interesting secret. The fun part about this show is like, you know, we have the characters, you know, it's weekly, full color, you know, very fun story, you know, it's not finished at all, but it's going pretty well. And we also basically find out that John has a few secrets he's hiding in the past, that the more you read, the more you find that, like, oh wait, this guy is actually kind of crazy. Like, that's the fun about it. I really want to talk more about it, but, you know, if you want to check it out, like I said, link in the description. Now, the next one is, another freaking favorite of mine, Hardcore Leveling Warrior. Great freaking webtoon. It's so freaking good. Full color, great art, amazing world, amazing mechanics. It's super fun. Just imagine, so basically this is the premise, right? Imagine you can play your games in your dreams, right? You boot up this app and you go to sleep and boom, you can play the game in your dreams, right? And your character is specifically made for you with your own abilities and special attributes, right? Let's say, for example, you love eating, right? Then you're gonna have an ability. Your character is gonna be basically designed in the way you see yourself, and it's gonna have the ability that's basically specifically correlates with your personality and like what you enjoy and what basically, you know, makes you better, you know. Like I said, if you like food, you basically probably have like abilities to, like, if you probably, let's say, eat a carrot, you'll have like superhuman visions for a while, you know. If you eat fish, you pretty much probably you can basically remember things way more, stuff like that, right? If you drink coffee, you probably have like infinite stamina or like infinite energy for a while, you know, stuff like that, right? And it's a very fun, interesting story, you know, and it basically follows our main character, Hardcore Leveling Warrior, you know. He's the #1 ranking in the world, the best player in the world, has all the best equipment, knows the game basically as much as the creator of the game himself. And the more we go through the world of Hardcore Leveling Warrior, the more secrets we find out of, like, okay, who started the game? Is this just a game, or is there something even further than this? We find out his backstory, you know, like who he actually is real life, you know. We find some really kind of dark things too in the show, but like I said, it's a very fun and enjoyable story. I don't want to talk too much about it. Like I said, if you really want to check it out, look at the description. Next one, we have another favorite of mine, Lseed, right? It's a very fun story, and if I were to recommend a show for you to get started, Lseed is a good one. Basically, this is the story, right? We have our main character, Ji-woo, right? He's a normal high school student, but in reality, he's hiding a secret. He has super speed, super fast. He basically has super speed, right? Now, we don't know, you know, he has super speed, and pretty much he tries to hide his abilities from the outside world, you know, because he has his backstory is that, you know, he has these powers and he always, like, basically had to move around and nobody had to, like, know he has powers, you know, because his parents were afraid, like, oh, they're gonna grab him and experiment on him and stuff like that, you know. So her mom told him, like, oh, don't use your powers, you know. And ever since his childhood, he was always afraid of his powers, and he basically wished he never had those powers, until one day he met Kaden, basically the #1 strongest awake one in the world, and he basically, you know, teaches them how to use his powers. And after meeting Ji-woo meeting Kaden, he basically gets entangled into his stuff and slowly learns about the world of the awakened, which are people with great powers and a lot of crazy things. And we see his journey from becoming just a person who didn't like his powers to, like, absolutely love his powers and meeting other great people and always getting better and better and better. And we just, like I said, it's a very fun story. I highly recommend it if you want to check it out. Anyway, we got another one here. Now next we have another favorite of mine that finished, Dice. It's basically that, let's see, imagine this, right? Whether it's appearance, grades, or social life, right? Dongja, the main character, is the bottom of the barrel, you know, pretty much weak, trash, basically terrible, right? When one day a popular transfer student basically comes in, known as Taben, he basically comes in and gives him the opportunity to basically change his life, right? So he gives him this dice, right? That basically with one roll, you can basically change your whole life, appearance, grades, intelligence. But after rolling the dice, he basically already jumped himself in the roll of dice, and we basically go through the story and we find out how dark and how bad the world really is and just how far things actually go in the story. I don't want to spoil anything. I just basically, if you want to check it out, it's fully finished already, and I'll put it in the link in the description. Next one, we have The Gamer, and man, this, if you want to check it out, you can. I'll put a link in the description, but I'd say don't have your hopes up, you know, and just be ready when things actually go kind of So let's move on from that one. Next one, we have another favorite of mine, The God of Blackfield, right? It's basically the show of mercenary Kang Chang, who's basically a mercenary fighting in wars, you know, 30-year-old man fighting in a war, and we basically get his story where he fights in a war but eventually gets killed by one of his members, and he basically swears revenge to find out who killed him. And when he died, he wakes up in a body of a different person who's pretty much 10 years in the future. He wakes up in his body and tries to basically try to figure out, try to maintain his life and try to find out basically who was the person who betrayed him and his team and killed everybody else. He also meets more people and basically slowly figures out who was the person who killed them and why. And I also heavily recommend it if you want to watch it. It's very great art, super banger. I'd say if you want to check it out, look at the description. Next, we have a well-known manhwa, Solo Leveling. Basically, the main character, weak as heck. If he literally trips, he's immediately down for the game. He weak as heck, but one day he gets into a dungeon and survives and is gifted a great ability to basically level up and become not just an S rank individual in his world, basically become something that's even higher than S ranks, but ever getting his powers and learning more about his abilities and the person who made him. He also finds secrets of the world and basically the main reason he was specifically chosen and given this ability, you know. If you want to check it out, link in the description too. Great art, awesome, and that's pretty much it. Now, there's a bunch of freaking webtoons you can watch. There's so many of them. You can basically pick whatever the freak you want. You can just search basically anything and you can probably find like a very good webtoons. There's also the 18+ ones if you want to check it out, if you want something spicy. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I really want to talk more about webtoons. I don't know when. I'll probably see if I can, because if I pick one, I'll probably be talking about it for like hours, and I don't want to make this video like a 20-minute video. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys later. Don't forget to subscribe and have a nice day. If you want to see more, comment down below.